Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble from Chris Gamble's Analog Life.
How you doing, Chris?
Pretty good, Dave. Welcome back.
Thank you. And we're a bit closer this time. I think
That's
we're
right.
only, how many miles away? 4,000 miles away from each other?
3 or 4. I never do. I don't do geography, so.
Right. Yeah, I don't do it that well. Everything's outside of Australia. That's all I know.
Yeah, right. You don't like swimming, so that's about where it stops, right?
That's right. Well, if anyone doesn't know, I'm in Anaheim, California. I'm at the Hyatt Regency. I'm coming from a hotel this time, just like Chris was last time. I'm on a blogging gig as well. So,
all right.
Yes.
Maybe this will be a regular thing. Who knows? Yeah.
It might be. I'm at the Renesas Dev Con 2010 event, and it's been awesome. If you've been following it on my blog, I've now posted 4 days worth of blogs up there, and
they're all up now?
There'll be some. They're all up. The 4th one is literally just uploaded 5 minutes before this show, so it's probably still rendering on YouTube or something like that. But it will be up. Plus, there will be some bonus videos as well going up. Full lectures, part of the new Renesas design contest, which I'll be involved in, which we can probably talk about later if we want to.
Cool.
But yeah, I'm having a great time here, and I've spent 4 days, and I've been working flat out here. Actually, it's not a holiday.
Not quite a vacation yet, right? That
no,
comes next.
It's not. No, I'm heading off, flying out of here to San Fran tomorrow. So
very nice.
Yeah, we
Any
start
plans
our
for out
10-day
there?
holiday. Well, I was going to visit Agilent, but that fell through. So
that's too bad.
Well, I didn't hear back from them. They said they were looking into it, but there's not enough time.
Well, I hear there's a couple other tech companies out there. Maybe you can poke into 1 or 2 of those.
Maybe there is. I don't know. But we've only got half a day now because Virgin America cancelled our flight, our early flight into San Fran. So now we're flying in at like 1 o'clock or something. So I've only got like half a day in San. That's not enough time to drive down to Silicon Valley and
that's especially in California traffic. So what I hear.
What is it, like 40 minutes, an hour from San Fran?
My friend that lives out there, he said to drive from like downtown San Fran to Silicon Valley, it's about 2 hours on a good day.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
really?
That's what he said. I don't know. I hope I'm not misquoting him. But
I've done it in the other direction, but I don't know. It's certainly not pleasant. So I think that's probably out. So I don't know. Maybe I can do something in San Fran, if anyone's got any ideas.
There's tons of great stuff there. I've never been out to the West Coast. I don't know if I've ever said that on here before, but
yes, I think you have.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, electronics. I like electronics, but I've just never been out to the valley. So someday, hopefully, someone will pay me to go out there. That's what I'm hoping. Well,
that's right. Well, maybe you can make it to the ESC show, because I will be back in the US next year. I don't know if I've mentioned that anywhere, but I will be at the ESC Silicon Valley next April.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to get out there. We can actually, shake hands.
Absolutely,
after all these
we've never
shows.
actually met. If anyone doesn't know, we've never actually met in person. All we've done is chatted on Skype and
interwebs.
Google Talk.
Yeah,
the interwebs.
Then we can make fun of each other in person.
Exactly,
and that will be great.
Fantastic. Maybe I can go to that science museum in San Fran. What's the name? I've been there before. The Discovery Museum or something.
Something like that,
It's really cool. Maybe I can do a blog from there or something.
That'd be great. That'd be really great.
Yeah.
Show off some cool stuff.
Yeah. But the wife's tagging along, so she makes all the decisions,
You got it. Keep her happy, man. That's important.
Absolutely. Well, I've got to be quiet. She's in the other room.
Okay, yes.
Yes, she's been banished in there for an hour while I do my silly radio show with my silly internet friends.
That's right, yep. Well,
and you can finally see her. She's actually on my videos.
I saw that in the second day one, right?
Dev Con.
Or was that the first one? It was the first one.
I think she's in 2 of them now, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So, there you go.
That's great.
She's in there.
So tell me about the conference. I mean, we saw the videos, but anything that didn't make the cut that we should know about? I mean, it looked like a lot of fun out there.
Oh, seriously, it was fantastic, and I'm not just saying that because they are paying for me to be here. But
good. That's disclaimer. That's good disclaimer.
Disclaimer, yeah, exactly. No, I've been to a lot, quite a few of these events, and they're pretty boring. They are usually pretty lame, and that was my expectation for this. Oh, it'll be 4 days of just sheer boredom and, and monotony and no one
droning on,
up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, have you been to ones in the U.S. before that are just like standard? Okay, that's a good reference.
I've been to 2 in the U.S. before in San Jose, Silicon Valley. So
okay. Well, we should probably qualify to listeners too. I mean, like sometimes they're put on by vendors, or rather distributors, which is okay. I mean, and usually it's a lot of different companies that are coming there and doing the same thing. And you mentioned this, I think, at the end of the first day video. But this is actually by a company, so it's a lot more focused, and then other people also come in as partners, so that's a little different.
Yeah, it's very much focused, and I think that's what makes it better, because everyone wants to be here to see Renesas microcontrollers. There's no other reason to be here, really, unless
if you don't like them, why are you there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And all the lectures and labs, I mean, they've got like more than a dozen of them running concurrently. Even if you watch the videos, you'll see the board and all the lectures. There's like 12 of them at 8:30 a.m. and they're all full. It's just
that's great, man.
Unbelievable.
That's really great.
Yeah.
Well, how about the people? Did you meet a lot of people there?
I met a hell of a lot of people, and a lot of people recognised me, of course. And,
really? That's great.
Came up to say hi, and a lot of people, everyone recognised me after Wednesday night's event, because I had to get up in front of all 750 people and do a big presentation up on stage, and that video is coming shortly, so you'll be able to see the whole thing.
I was going to say, because I saw you put something on Twitter about that, like how you don't like, that's why you like off the cuff, but you didn't get to do that. You had to actually do prepared remarks or something, and it didn't work out. Here's
the story. Okay, I'll tell you the story.
Okay.
I was just going to do an off-the-cuff thing, because they said, look, we're going to get you up on stage. You'll just be just before James Meigs, the editor of Popular Mechanics magazine, and you'll be talking about the design contest, the new Renesas design contest. Video coming on that, by the way.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to get up there and just say a few words. And no worries, easy, just do it off the cuff like I normally do. And then a couple of hours before the event, they called me in for a meeting, and they showed me all the PowerPoint slides they were going to show. And they were going to show like my hype video, my 1.5 minute video short that I've done. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I haven't.
That I did for this talent contest, and
that one I did see that. That was the clips and everything, right? Yeah.
Yep, exactly. 1.5 minute clips of me.
That's right. That was funny. That was like kind of like a really compressed version of your 100th show. That I really like.
It's a compressed version of my 100th show. Yeah, and they were going to dim the lights, and then so they were going to announce me. Maury Wright, who's the other blogger there, he was going to announce me, dim the lights, and then, ta-da, the video comes up, and they were telling me how important this all is to the whole thing, and don't, pretty much, you can read between the lines, like, don't screw it up,
Do not swear. Did they say anything about swearing? Because,
they said swearing was okay. Even
though
the head honcho from Japan was in the audience, a whole bunch of them, actually.
Right.
He's pretty cool dude.
It's great. You go out drinking, do some karaoke.
And
karaoke. Yeah.
It was good. And so they told me to do all that. Okay. But they made it sound like, it's now so massively important a couple of hours out, and I thought, no, I'm going to screw this up. So I better go back to my room and write a script or something, and at least polish something.
Yeah.
So I get back to my room, and I try and write something, and I had about, they said roughly 4 minutes tops or something like that. And for the life of me, I could not get a damn sentence out.
Oh, no.
And I tried to sit there with my recorder.
I'm from Australia.
Yeah.
That's about it, right?
And it was pathetic. I recorded myself with my little Zoom H1, which I'm now using to record this show.
Yeah.
And it was garbage. I couldn't string 2 sentences together.
That's too bad.
Feeling pretty bad. So in the end, I just went, bugger it. I'm going to go off the cuff again.
Yeah?
And it worked. It worked fine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
See? Never fails.
I know, never fails.
That's perfect.
So it's different when you're up there in front of 750 people.
Right. If 750 people are watching you don't get to look them in the face. You don't see if someone's snoring, while they're watching a video blog, right? But
well, the thing is, I think when you're recording in your room to yourself, you sort of stop. Like you'll start recording something and you'll go, oh, that sucks, and you'll just stop, and you'll do it again, and you'll try and be perfection at it.
Yeah.
You know, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Whereas you went up there, your mindset's different, and bang, away it went.
That's great.
Anyway, everyone will be able to see that video.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. You know, it must have been different too, because I mean, you know, there's a really wide range of people that, you know, listen to us and watch your video blog as well, and like, and that's really awesome. You know, like the fact that there's hackers and there's hobbyists and there's beginners and experienced people, but that must have been a little scary to get up in front of, like, you know, these are like probably like developed these are very experienced people, I'm guessing, at Dev Con, so that must have been a little different, huh?
It was, yeah. I mean, it was originally supposed to be 500 people, but 750 turned up, and we're at this massive, you know, really schmicko dinner event, and they hyped me up, and the lights drop, and the video comes on, and everyone's laughing. Then I've got to get up there and perform.
Oh boy!
And
yeah, and you were sick the whole time too.
And I was sick, and I've still got a cough. There we go. You heard that just then.
Yep.
So,
well, that's too bad. But I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of those videos. So that's great. That's really great.
They'll be uploaded soon. There's a really good one I got, which I should. We might talk about it later. But I got to sit down with DJ Delory. Who's the who writes the GEDA, the open source hardware, open source EDA package, the PCB and schematic package.
Yep.
And that goes for about 12 minutes, continuous clip interview, and that's really quite nice.
Yeah.
In fact, that brings out our first discussion point. Should we talk about it? I just added this 10 minutes before.
Fine.
Have you seen it? It's right down
I was just looking at it, and you know,
on the list.
Yeah, go ahead. Go explain it. I mean.
Well, basically about open source hardware, because the GEDA tool, is fully open source EDA, and there's only two types. There's GEDA, only two open source tools. There's GEDA or there's KiCad or KiCad, however you want to pronounce it. And he says in the video, you'll be able to see this, that he commented that basically on the new open source hardware standard we've talked about before on the blog. This new definition they're trying to come up with, you know, being led by Adafruit and SparkFun and all the other major players, you know, in this new open source hardware field.
I went to something about that, yeah.
Yep, that's right, yeah. Duh. Yeah, you went to the Open Source Hardware Summit.
That's
right.
Of
course. And, DJ made the great point that really, you know, his exact words weren't this, but basically you should be, if you're going to be open source hardware, you should only use open source tools and fully open source tools, and that, you know, you really have to be hardcore or nothing. Go away. Yeah. You know, basically, like a purist, he didn't say that, but that's. Right. I think that's what he meant. You know, you have to be a purist. So really, you know, but as you know, the de facto standard EDA package in the open source hardware industry is Eagle.
That's right.
Because it's free, but it's not open source. It's closed.
Right. It's freemium.
You know, exactly. The file format is closed. And DJ made the concession that maybe if the file format was open, that would be enough.
Right, because then you could cross it with other tools and stuff.
And you could process it and you could, you know, at least extract the data out. But I believe, don't quote me, that Eagle is a closed format, file format, just like, you know, all the other CAD packages out there are all a closed proprietary format.
Well, we know that Element 14 might sometimes listen to this, so we should tell them that. I mean, so Element 14, if you're listening, you know, open it up. Open it all up, man. We need open. You know,
it's open source.
Yeah, and you know,
people are using this tool.
And we've talked about inconsistencies too. I mean, like how we mentioned that people at that summit were, you know, like a lot of them are Apple fans because, you know, it's good design. And the same thing with Eagle, I'm sure too, is, you know, it's polished, it's finished, it's nice, it's done. But if you are going to be a purist,
I don't think it's that great to use, actually. But
no, you don't like Eagle? Oh well, I guess. Yeah.
No, I don't like the user interface, but still, it's, you know, it's reasonably easy to use compared to say GEDA or something like that.
Yeah,
for free, you can't complain.
Right, and so I mean, that's probably the balancing point, and so purists will say that, but it's interesting. I've never tried it. I'll have to give that a shot because, you know, I have a license for my work, but I wouldn't feel comfortable using outside of work. So I should be learning other tools. So maybe I'll pick that up and give it a shot.
Yeah, well, the other thing about the Eagle is not only is the file format closed, I believe, but it's limited in size and limited in layers. The free version,
that's right.
Anyway,
yeah,
you can buy the full version for like $600, $800 or something. But so is that a real problem? This open source hardware definition is really, it's really compromising the true essence of open source there. So it's
interesting because
contradictory.
I was actually around last Saturday, and for the first time, I got to watch Ask an Engineer live. So it was Phil Terone and Lamar Fried from Adafruit, and I actually got to ask that. I was doing it like how you do it. Yeah, it was Ustream, and I asked him what else is left on the open hardware definition, because I think Phil's one of the main ones that's doing it. And he said that it's a lot of tweaks right now, but that might not even be on there. So that might be a really good. And there is a link to add feedback about that. So if people are interested in bring it, if that's an interest to you, you can bring that up. You can submit that, and maybe that should be a legitimate piece of that document, because as far as there's buy-in from the whole community on that document, so maybe that should be in there. And
exactly.
that could be a really big thing.
Well, I think, in the purest sense of the word, it should be. But I'll tell you why it's not. Because Adafruit and all the other major players who are involved in this, they all use Eagle. So they've got a vested interest.
Right, exactly. That's
that's all they use. So they're not going to swap to Jita just because, so they're being, I don't know, I don't like it. Because... I've mentioned before that I don't like the fact that they're not allowing the non-commercial license to be included in the open source hardware
I agree
definition.
if you listen to the reasons they give for the non-commercial, I think they give good reasons for that. But I think with this Jita thing, I think that maybe it just was never brought up. Yes, you're right that there is self-interest for continuing. If they have board files that are in Eagle, transferring that over is difficult. There's no doubt about that. No one wants to change software packages, especially when it's your business. But it could be an honest omission. Like if maybe this needs to be brought up. So, and DJ has some self-interest too, because he's writing this package, he's working on it, he wants it to be widely used, and not that he has personal interest. Like I don't know if he has monetary interest in it, but there's always self-interest in all this stuff. I've talked about that with open source hardware stuff, all the companies that are doing it. There is some legitimate stuff, but right now people are still playing together, so that's a good thing, and maybe it just needs to be brought up.
It is a good thing, but DJ's a purist. I've talked to this guy, and he has no vested interest in Jita, by the way. Actually, in fact, he mentions in the video that I'll put up that he doesn't care whether you use Jita or whether you use KiCad, as long as you use open source. He doesn't care.
That's a good point towards that.
In fact, he put some good reasons in the video why you should use KiCad, and who should use KiCad. So,
well, that's good. Definitely.
So he has no vested interest in Jita. He knows it's quite a primitive interface compared to KiCad or Eagle or something like that. Or it's just harder to use, a bit harder to use. So, but I think there's a huge vested interest in there, and they're compromising the open source, the spirit of open source, by not doing that. But hey, I can understand. Otherwise, the whole thing falls flat on its face, and every one of them who's involved in this thing would have to learn a new tool.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think any of them are going to do that.
It's worth bringing up, and I think we should, and I think if our listeners are interested, they should as well. And we can start a discussion about it. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I'm sure it's a legitimate point. So that's great. I'm looking forward to that video.
Terrific. All right, what's up next?
Well, we got a couple of shout-outs we need to get through. Not get through,
awesome.
Of course. We love shout-outs, and we love people that do it. So Alan from Orbit.com, he put our logo on his page, so thank you very much, Alan.
Thank
you,
also,
Alan. Nathan did, too, and his is a Sober Newt. That's his, I thought that was an interesting name, a Sober Newt, but he's got a page. I was looking through it about audio stuff, and it's a cool site, so we'll post a link to that as well. Both of those guys.
Thanks,
yeah, definitely. Putting a link and a picture back to our page is awesome. We really appreciate it a lot. So,
and I have to thank Jeff from last week.
Oh yeah, Jeff Kaiser,
yes,
Mighty Ohm.
MightyOhm.com. Check it out. He took over for me while I was under the weather. So thank you very much, Jeff. That was at the last minute.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to listen to that about the?
I did actually. Yes, it was excellent. I enjoyed it.
He definitely knows his Arduinos. That's
he does indeed.
And his other stuff too. I mean, I got to talk to him offline a little bit too, and he knows his stuff. So.
And he probably uses Eagle too, not an open source package.
Now we're gonna start judging people, huh, Dave?
Right, judging people. Well, yes. Everyone knows what package I use. It's hardly open source.
Right. So, what else do we have? We have, a couple things. Did you see... I have another shout-out on here. It's from a couple weeks ago, actually, but I was so excited about it. And no one else... people at my work didn't really think it was that cool or thought it was a dumb idea. But a wrist scope. Did you see that?
I've seen it. It's from the Seed Studio people again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who make the DSO Nano.
That's right. Yeah. And one of the main guys from Seed Studio was actually on one of the panels at the Open Hardware thing, and they actually have a pretty complex operation from what I could tell from I think he was doing the business talk, but I don't know. I think it's a cool idea. I love instruments that are like body mounted. I know that like that's a hazard in certain cases. You don't like it?
It just screams wank.
Really?
I mean, it does. I mean, I've thought about doing something like this too, and I always
you have a device
that
goes on your wrist. You made a wrist calculator,
I did have, but it has a legitimate history. There's just no reason to put a bloody oscilloscope. I think it would have been massively. It's a novel form factor, but nobody's going to use it on the wrist. Just like. Actually, the majority of people who bought my calculator watch did not use it on their wrist. They used it as a little pocket watch. They whacked it in their pocket.
Really?
And they used it. Yeah, they actually didn't mount the band on there. They loved it because you just slip it in your pocket. It was effectively the world's smallest scientific calculator.
Nice.
And that's what this thing... I assumed... I can't see photos of the back of it. I've got some photos here, but I assume that you can just rip off the wrist mount. And I guarantee you, nobody will put it on their wrist. So...
I would.
You'll put it on once and then you'll go, no, that's a wank. And
I used to love... I don't know. It's like... wasn't it like a Star Trek thing where like Data was wearing... Didn't he always like wear things on his wrist?
Oh, I don't watch that new Star Trek one. A lot of people say I look like Data from Star Trek.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I get it all the time. I get it all the time.
Really?
Yep.
Maybe if you grew your hair out and slicked it back.
Right. Well, yeah, possibly.
Maybe that could be your Halloween costume.
I think it's the eyes and the pale expression or something like that. But anyway, the design looks hell of a lot better than the DSO Nano. It's got it's got fully vertical input scales. It's got 36 megbit sample rate, 30 meg bandwidth, but that's only 3.5 megahertz.
Yeah.
Real time bandwidth, AC/DC coupling. It's got
right.
It's got 2 mega storage, and it's a mixed signal thing too.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, but I'm not jumping. I'm not writing home to my mother about it. So. Sorry.
Yeah, it sounds like you're writing home. I can hear tapping over there. Are you tapping right now?
I am pushing keys.
He's pushing keys. That's right. He's writing to someone right now. He's ordering. Dave, just you hear this right now. Dave's going to show it on his... He's like, I have to get this before anybody else. He's saying he doesn't want it, but you're going to see it on the EV blog in about 2 months. You're going to see, hey, check out my new wrist scope.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see who's doing a wrist scope review in a while. We'll see.
Right. Well, it doesn't have BNC input. I mean...
That kind of sucks. I understand that.
It's just that they went to the trouble to sort of make it a bit more professional oscilloscope-like, but it's still a toy,
I like it.
I don't know, but it's open source. Yeah, it's cool. Okay, but...
It's cool.
Yeah.
Seed Studio does some cool stuff. They do.
Yep. Okay. But please, as I've said before, don't buy it as a replacement for a real... oscilloscope.
No, I wouldn't say that. No.
Well, that's what everyone kept asking me. I kept getting flooded with emails.
Really?
About that's why I did a whole blog on should you get the DSO Nano. And I said, no, it's a toy, it's a heap of crap. Go get a real analog oscilloscope.
Oh, so maybe they don't like you already.
They probably don't like me. I mean, I accept that it has its place. If you do want an oscilloscope you can slip in your back pocket, then, well, okay, it's okay for that little niche application, but... No, I get all these beginners saying, "Oh, should I buy it?" And I'm going, "No."
Right, it's because it's cheap, right? It's cheap.
It's because it's cheap.
Yeah.
But for the same money, you can buy a 100 megahertz analog oscilloscope.
Yeah.
Give me a break. There's no contest.
Well, hey, I didn't put this on our usual thing, but I actually pulled my scope apart. I have.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I have a 425M. The military version of the 425.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And I pulled that thing apart, and I love it. I love this old scope so much.
Isn't it pornographic inside, those old tech scopes?
Oh, my God. They made it all modular. I mean, it's got, PCI slot-type connectors, but they're all analog connections through there, too. So they're, these huge copper traces. They're all hand-drawn. All these boards are hand-drawn. I think some people do that. Maybe Jeff Kaiser might be one of the ones that does it, where, they put up Flickr profiles of just, basically what you call electronics porn. Just, the coolest layouts and,
Absolutely.
It's so awesome. And they got, the old set, they're using 741s in there,
Yep.
I love it. I have to fix mine, actually, because I turned it on. I got it a couple years ago, and it's just been sitting here, and I have a different scope in the meantime, but I finally opened it up to start fixing it the other day, and I realized that it's the power rails they're just low. I think something's shorted in there. So,
or the caps are drying out, or something like that.
Yeah,
is
that's
a common thing.
One.
So
that's right.
Yeah,
I'm really nervous though because so it's a CRT scope.
Oh, there's
7
big energies, big voltages in there. Don't go
7 kilovolts rather. It's
a standard. Maybe for those older ones, for the higher voltage ones, they're usually 20 kilovolts.
Really?
For a 100 megahertz CRT or something like that.
It says on there 7 or greater than 7 kilovolts.
7 kV. Okay.
But you can just tell from the connector. Just the big rubberized connector, so it won't arc over.
And they store a lot of charge too. They're hugely capacitive and they store massive potential energy, so don't go poking around in the scope kiddies.
Right. Yeah, and I definitely was unhooking, like I said, they're modular boards. I was definitely pulling one out and I realized that by accident I had knocked the power on. And so kids, remember to unplug the power plug from the back. I'm a professional, and I would have... I would have been found 2 days... My girlfriend wasn't here. I would have been found 2 days later, crap my pants and, kick the bucket. But, I got lucky. Make sure you unplug it before you start messing around inside a scope. Or any really gear. But, just, the mechanical stuff, too. You do a lot with, the Rigol scopes, and they're cool. I have one of those, too. And, but, they're little tiny data encoded knobs, and they're so boring now.
Yeah, I know.
And then you look at these old scopes, and I'm looking at this thing. It's got a rotary knob, and it's connected to a potentiometer. So that's actually how it's doing the control. It's doing analog control all the way back, but it's got a 4 or 5 inch actual rod that goes back there. They don't do that stuff anymore because it's just not even close to economical.
No, it's so hideously expensive. Some of them go all the way to the back of the chassis. There's rods in there that are 12, 15 inches long in these scopes. And there's dozens of these custom rods, which some even go right angles. They pivot. So they have the board, which is at right angles to the front panel. Yeah. And the rod goes back from the front panel through a 90 degree mechanical, knuckle bend on it, and then goes into right angles into the board. And
it's so awesome, though. I love it. I love it. I know people don't they don't make them like they used to,
No. But then you've got the multiple layer ones. The big time base. You've got the dual time base. One with it's got the main time base and the inner time base.
That's
and then
right.
It's got the knob in the middle, so it's like a
it snaps in and out. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got a 3 or 4 layer knob. Oh.
Yeah, from a design perspective it sucks, but I love it.
From a complex design perspective, but it's
But that's probably why this thing costs. It probably cost $1,000 to $2,000 back in the day, and now
easily
$200 these days. So
exactly.
Jim Williams, he fixes these for fun. The
yes,
the linear
he does.
tech guy.
Yeah, old Jim.
I love that his articles sometimes end with Jim Williams lives at home with his wife, his 2 dogs, and 88 oscilloscopes.
Oscilloscopes, yeah.
That's so great. Like, I can just imagine, like, you walking in there and, like, lining in the kitchen or something like that. Like,
Yep.
That's great.
I get in trouble every time I bring home a new oscilloscope.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, you get the garage, so that's good.
Yeah, but it's 2 meters by 2 meters. Give me a break.
Oh, is that it? Oh, I thought it was bigger than that.
That's it.
No,
it's 2
looks
meters.
bigger on camera. The camera adds 10 pounds to your garage.
Right, excellent. Let's move to some news.
Yeah,
shall
news,
we?
definitely.
Arrow bought New Horizons. You say I hadn't heard this one.
It didn't get a lot of press really. I think New Horizons. I don't know if people knew about New Horizons. They're on like the top 20 distributors list, and they I've talked to them once or twice, but they're gone now. So
well, New Horizons. Don't quote me because I've lost track. The mergers these companies have done over the years are so hideously complex that New Horizons was formed by they bought out somebody and merged and changed their name or something. I don't think they sprung out of nowhere. I think it was so they have history. You've names you've probably heard of in the deep dark past, and now Arrow have bought them, and there's so much consolidation, and it's I remember it happened about 5 to 8 years ago. There was huge consolidation in the market, and now there's even more. It never ends.
Right. I mean, because you get the little guys, they keep getting swallowed up by the bigger guys. But did you see that the news release? You're the one that told me about it, I think, on Twitter. About the Element 4 or Farnell has an announcement coming out next week or something?
Yes, October 28th or something.
25th, maybe?
Yeah, I got some flyer or something that says, we've got a big announcement.
What do you think it's going to be?
Well, the rumor going around Dev Con is that they will change their name. Farnell will no longer be Farnell, it'll be Element 14.
That would be my money
rebrand.
Too. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's true. I have no inside knowledge whatsoever. That may be a complete fizzer and a marketing wink. But
I would just say because they're spending so much money on all that marketing stuff. That would be my only guess. I don't know anything else about them, but that would be it. That they're moving all the way. Because, like I said, I think I told you or someone else on there that if you look on like Octopart, they already list themselves as Element 14. They don't list it as Farnell or Premier.
They're slowly rebranding the interface to various other things. But as a corporation, they're still Farnell. But so
I can't imagine. I mean, they're spending so much money on other stuff anyways that it would make sense. So not a big deal, but.
But I just think it's stupid. Some marketing dickhead came up with this Element 14 idea. Yeah. Element 14 are my friends. I've done some stuff for them. I'm in their new magazine.
Yeah.
But I'm allowed to bag them.
Yeah,
I bag
of course.
Everyone. And really, Element 14, it's just a stupid name. It's, it's a fine concept for their little blog site they've got, which we've said before is hideously complicated, and difficult to use, and
they have
all
Ben
that
Heck,
sort of stuff. But
so that's good. I mean, we like Ben. He's got a good show.
We like Ben Heck, and he's on there. But to rebrand your company Element 14, I'm sorry, guys, that is just suicide. That is suicide. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's not suicide like Tropicana. You know how Tropicana did that, where they changed their carton and then people stopped.
Tropicana changed they lost 30% of their market overnight or something, but. But Farnells I've known about Farnells since 1980s. I used to buy parts from them. 1989 I bought my first commercial parts from Farnells Australia.
But old people are starting to retire, right? I mean, you're close to retiring, right?
I am.
You gotta be young and hip and Element 14.
Yes, right. It's they try and be hip and change it, and they think their Element 14 blog is the be all end all, right? And quite frankly, it's not. I mean, I've got a bigger audience than they do. I mean, give me a break, right? It's just I'm sorry, guys, but it's it's not the be-all, end-all solution, this Element 14 site or the Element 14 brand. I don't know, but I can understand from the corporate perspective that they want to merge the brands. So, go ahead and do it. I don't care. I'll just still call you Farnell. It's just like...
I mean, that's the thing, and we'll still buy from people that have parts. It's like if Element 14 doesn't have parts or Farnell doesn't have parts, you're still not going to buy from them. It doesn't matter, Like if they're going up against the DigiKeys and the Mausers and everybody else's, it doesn't matter to me. To me, I don't know about you. It doesn't matter to me what you're called if you have decent prices and you have availability, which is so much of a bigger deal these days.
It's a big deal. Price isn't that much. It's can you get the parts, really?
Yeah. And you'll pay more if you can get the parts. So, there's shortages all over the place. And people are paying through the nose. I don't know. Do you ever deal with like brokers or anything? You ever heard of brokers? Brokers.
Yeah, I've dealt with brokers before.
They're like the scum of the earth, from what I can tell. It's basically people that hoard parts, and
they're usually grey market parts too. They're not always authentic parts.
Yeah,
so they're,
it's tough.
Yeah, I know. As most professional companies will not buy. Blanket company rule: don't buy from brokers and the grey market. End of story. You buy from the official channel suppliers, or you buy from Farnell, DigiKey, Mouser.
Yeah,
those
whatever.
And Newark. By the way, what's going to happen with Newark? Because
I thought they're the same thing, aren't they?
They are. See, there's Farnell's, there's Newark, and there's Element 14. So
Are they Premier Farnell or no? I thought isn't there a Premier in there somewhere?
Well, that's right. It was it was Farnell's, and then it was Premier Farnell's, and then they bought Newark, and then they rebranded their blog channel Element 14. It's like, what are you doing, guys?
Yeah.
God, I can't keep track of your own, one company. I was pissed off enough that. They still kept Newark and Farnell's kind of as separate entities, and I don't know. It's just, it's too hard.
Should we skip this next one then? Do you not want to talk about this?
My brain's starting to hurt.
Should we skip this next one? Is this going to upset you too?
Oh, no. Actel. Actel, the FPGA, one of probably the fourth FPGA vendor out there, has been bought by Microsemi.
So what do you say? You say Xilinx, Altera, Lattice?
Xilinx, Altera, battle it out. They have for decades as number one. Lattice is number Lattice is number 3.
Yeah.
And Actel is number 4.
Right, but, and then there's I saw a chart once actually of those 4 usually were really solid. I think it was an EE Times article or EDN or something, and they showed everybody behind them. They just kept trying new businesses and failing and.
There's so many FPGA startups. Silicon Blue is another one.
Oh, yeah.
That have just started. And I just got the inside scoop of another FPGA startup today.
Oh, cool.
Well, actually, they've been going a while, and it was formed by the former head from Xilinx, who developed all their Vertex devices, which is their high-end parts. Yeah. He left and formed some other FPGA spin-off, and now they reckon they're going to be cheaper and higher density than Xilinx,
blah, blah.
And they're going to kill Xilinx.
Yeah, right.
Give me a break.
I bet Xilinx has something to say about that.
Yeah, there are a dime a dozen FPGA startups, let me tell you. So,
well, it's interesting because...
Anyway,
go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, I'm pissed off at this merger because Microsemi have actually said... that not quite a quote, but it's effectively a quote, that they have said that they will kill off any part of Actel which is not profitable, and they will kill off, which is standard business practice when you buy a company, fair enough, but they will also not try and compete with the other major FPGA players, which means...
I had read a contrasting article to that, though. I had heard that too, but... Yeah. But go ahead, sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, anyway, I was just saying that means that, for them to come out and say those two things, it means that Actel is, in my opinion, is no longer a viable long-term FPGA vendor because,
they'll keep whittling away.
If you design your part in now thinking you're going to buy that FPGA in 10 years' time, you might be kidding yourself. So,
I agree.
I mean... and I was about to put an Actel FPGA in one of my new boards. Yeah. And I'm thinking twice about it now.
Right, and frankly, you know what? And that's enough. The confidence factor is enough that it's that's going to hurt them just from the get-go. They should have been like, we're not doing a darn thing. Nothing's going to change.
Exactly. That's what they should have come out and said.
That's what they should have said, but...
Yep.
The fact that they didn't, well, you're going to have to deal with that too. Maybe you could take new niche markets or something like that, but good luck. Whatever you're going to do, good luck, because... being bought by Microsemi is an analog company,
yes.
and that alone smells shady, right? And and so the fact that they might be able to do great things, we'll see. But and this has been talked over 30 times on different tech blogs. They ate this stuff for breakfast. Like they loved it.
Yeah, this was huge news. Yeah,
and but it's for people that aren't in the publishing industry or looking for like conflict. We're just looking for parts. Well, maybe we'll just go with a different vendor for now.
Exactly. And it's a real shame because the Actel parts were really nice. The Actel Fusions are actually a combination of analog and digital FPGAs.
I didn't like
and
those.
The Actels, and they're really low power. They're flash only, which is fair. That's why I was using them in my new design, because they got built-in flash. And
I like the flash thing, but I did not like the mixed signal stuff. Because the thing is, like, you could use. I talked to the vendors about it a lot too. Yeah. And I liked the fact. When I first heard about it, I was so jazzed. Because I like analog stuff. But I'm also you need FPGAs, or you need some kind of glue logic or micros or something. And the idea that would be there would be awesome. And they were even talking. I think the Fusion, the Pro Fusion or whatever it was.
Yep.
Or is that that's a razor blade?
Yeah, the Fusion. Yeah, I don't know. Smart Fusion. Smart Fusion is their combined analog digital.
Yeah, yep. and they were talking about reconfigurable, filter blocks, and that's kind of like getting into field programmable analog arrays, which are they're kind of on the horizon still. But you look at the specs then, and you're like, this is nothing. The best they could do was like a 12-bit A to D, 12-bit DAC, and then like the analog stuff, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot stick. Like it just wasn't worth it. So it was interesting, and the stuff they were talking about was like like power monitoring for really big systems, but I was definitely lukewarm on all of that stuff. So.
Well, it's always a compromise with those devices, the performance. But if you just want adequate performance, then it's it's going to be right up your alley. But
it was expensive too. Like it was expensive. Did you look at the prices on those? They were expensive, man.
Oh, then they're not cheap parts. I mean,
No.
if you want a cheap design, you don't use an FPGA.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true regardless.
End of story. You buy one of the new the integrated microcontrollers with all their fantastic analog peripherals and
for $1
stuff like that. For $1 exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be interesting to see. I mean, where it goes. But for right now, like you said, I mean, you're not designing with it. I'm not going to touch it.
Well, I'm in two minds because it's still, I think, the best fit for my current design, but I'm just nervous about it. That's all. And
you don't want to put work into it and have it all
and then
on the toilet.
A couple of years down the track, it's just it's gone.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well,
what can you do? We can talk about the new Beagle board.
Oh, the Panda. I don't know much about that.
The Panda board. It's got a new OMAP chip. Well, it's got a new high performance dual core OMAP chip. Have you seen these TI OMAP chips?
I've seen the old chips. I haven't looked at the new one yet, but I look at it.
They're really cool because they actually use a stacked die. They actually use two dies inside the one package.
So is it flip chip, or is it it's bonded, or how do they do that?
Yeah, it could be flip. I think it might be flip. Anyway, I don't know how they connect them inside, but there's two dies in the one package. So it's the standard looking chip, but it's got your processor on it, plus a huge amount of external RAM as well. So it just uses the second die for the actual RAM.
So they use actual two entire die, like it says Cortex A9s, and they actually put two die in there, and then they hook them together externally.
They hook them together. They somehow join them together on the one device. Yeah, I think they flip them over and they join them. So it's a way to couple. So instead of you requiring an extra flash memory chip, this massive amount of flash memory is built into the one chip. And the way they do it, they can't fit it on the single die, so they just do it as separate dies, and it's really quite neat.
I think we're going to keep. I mean, we've already seen that. Like there's like those power modules that do that. Have you've seen those, right? Where they actually pour in and put inductors and all that stuff in there too. But I think that is just such a big trend still. Well, not still. It's going to be a bigger trend yet, where you're going to see entire systems just continue to get shoved in there because these vendors they have so much silicon sitting around. So many ideas and IP and everything that they're just going to shove it all together. Your cell phone is going to go down to single chip kind of stuff, and they're going to fight to the death to get it into your next smartphone.
Absolutely.
Especially like the Samsungs and the big, the big ones, the Intels. Well, not Intels probably, but
well, that's interesting that Intel, number 1, fighting it out with Samsung, as we've talked about before, but Renesas is number 3.
I read that. I read that.
Who knew, right? Renesas, the third largest semiconductor manufacturer in the world. It's crazy.
Right. But they all kind of target different markets too, don't they? I mean, Intel, everybody knows it goes in computers and
Intel's
consumer.
Intel, yep.
Right. And Samsung has kind of been, they do they do the Apple A4, they do their own phones now.
They do memory, they do everything. They're across the whole.
Right. And then Renesas, they're across the whole board too. Like I know they do industrial though too, right?
Oh, they do tons of industrial. It's mainly micros, but they do they do FETs and all sorts of analog stuff as well, and they do. I'm not sure they're right across the board like Samsung are, but
are they in any phones though? That's the kind of question I'm wondering. Is are they consumer at all? Are they
I don't. Well, they're heavily consumer in terms of cars and white goods and stuff like that. Maybe not mobile phones. Don't quote me on that.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting because there's always going to be a big person, or there's going to be a the 400-pound gorilla in every market.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just and more markets are opening up every day. Like you hear about renewable energy markets opening up too, and there's going to be a 400-pound gorilla in that too. It's just as they come up, then they start eating each other and everything. So. It's just interesting to hear what markets each one is in. So this OMAP though. Anything else? Let's see. I know I put this link in here, but I didn't. I didn't see much on here.
Right. You've been to your local hackerspace.
Yes, I did that Tuesday. It's called Makers Alliance in Cleveland, and they're kind of getting started. They were a mix of. Apparently, there's a big conference in Cleveland. I knew about it, but I never went to it. It's called Nauticon. Right. It's kind of like a hack conference or Dev Con. Yep. Not Dev Con. What's the other one? What's the big con?
I know
the security one. Yeah, whatever. Sorry.
Yeah, with all the
I'll think of it. Anyway, so a lot of those guys got together and they have one here. So they got a great space and they're building it up and. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, you said you've been to yours before, right? I mean,
no, I haven't actually been there. I've donated gear to them, but I haven't. Yeah, I haven't actually been there. It's on the blog list, so I'll go there and I'll do a blog from the hackerspace. It's,
cool.
Yeah, so that'll eventually happen. I'm not sure when, but yeah, probably sometime this year. And because it's on the other side of Sydney, and I don't have a lot of time to, and.
Well, I wonder about that too. It's like it's such a cool idea, and I love the collaborative. I mean, like even on a Tuesday, I was there on a Tuesday night, and there was probably 8 people there, and they're doing work, setting up the space and everything. But like just the fact that they're doing that is very enviable. Like that they're there all the time and doing this cool work. But then I also think, well, I get stuff to do at home too.
Exactly. If that's usually those people who go there, that's their only hobby is the hackerspace.
Right.
Whereas if you've got other hobbies like us, or other things to do like us, I'm sure they have other things to do too. But that's one of their, that's their passionate hobby is to go to the hackerspace and be part of the hackerspace. Yeah. Whereas, guys like us who just like to drop in and. If it's not close by and convenient, then we're just not going to do it. It's one of those.
Right.
And I'm fully kitted out at home. I don't need to be there to. The whole idea is that you go there to use their tools. Well,
right.
I don't really need to use any of their tools.
Right.
They've got one of those 3D machines, which would be really cool. I might use once, but
I'm really
apart
looking
from that,
for,
I don't.
Yeah, like metalwork stuff. If they start doing, I think they're still getting gear and stuff too. But stuff that I wouldn't have here, like a drill press and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Or a CNC machine or anything like that. Once they have that stuff, I'm definitely gonna, I'm gonna be down there and and stuff and they're great guys and they're gonna get it that stuff soon. So looking forward to it. And if they're listening, hi. Please let me back in some other time.
Excellent. You just wanted to rant about. We're not going to link it. You wanted to rant about a shit story in IEEE.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you and I talk about like social media stuff sometimes because I don't think that we're like into it. We're not talking about it all the time, but we're proficient with it, right? I mean, we use Twitter naturally, and we have blogs and we do podcasts and all this stuff that a lot of people do very. It feels like it's very staggered and it's not natural. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that we sound like naturals because I just stuttered like crazy there and I sounded like an idiot. But I'm saying
at least we're doing it.
Right? Yeah. It's not like we're like forced to do it. Like like it's not like it's not like we're throwing PR like press releases up on a Twitter account all the time, right? That is what I'm talking about. And so there's a story in IEEE magazine about social media, and they got this lady who must have some kind of prior credentials and then got into social media stuff, and like the stuff she's saying though is ridiculous. I mean, this article was talking about, oh well, you should definitely get on Twitter and then post your press releases there and do all the stuff that I said was ridiculous. That's basically what she was suggesting to do.
It was social media wank word bingo 101. That's what it was. It was yeah, I know. It just read like a cut and paste from some textbook on how to run social media for your company, for your your company, and how it will be well managed and all that sort of. It's just garbage. I don't like it.
Oh yeah, and become a. This is the line that I really didn't like. The and I've read stuff like this before, and at first I thought about it like that, and then I'm like, this is ridiculous. A blog is not for. It said like, oh, you'll sound like an expert. You'll sound like an instant expert. And it's like, no, you won't. You'll sound like an idiot until you actually research stuff and go out there
and produce good content.
Exactly, and that's the key. I mean, like, so yeah, I love I like writing. I mean, I love that practicing writing has gotten me to be a better communicator. In emails and everything else for my professional life, but. I don't think that I'm told on a regular basis that I'm not an expert by Dave. I'm told by people at work. I'm told by myself quite often too. And and like
I'm not an expert either.
I know, yeah. And it's like so go do that stuff. Use it for documenting your projects and showing that you're doing cool things. But don't think you're going to be an expert, and don't write a blog about blogging and then say that you're going to be an expert because you sound ridiculous. So I didn't want to call this person out by name, but it was a ridiculous art. If I've talked about the IEEE magazines before, and this was just like it kind of poked me in the wrong spot. So,
well, speaking of the IEEE, I just met a few hours ago. I just met the former editor of the IEEE magazine. Actually, he's here at Dev Con.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Well,
this was a long time ago. This was in the 90s.
It must have been the good days. So back in the days.
Those were the good days when he was running it, and and it was all hunky dory.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you see the? So one of our listeners actually posted on the suggestion or on the 11th episode about the new Microsoft .NET board. Have you seen that?
I had a quick look of it. Has it only got 64K of RAM? I've got it up here.
No, and they were saying so. The expert there, so he's from the Microsoft Embedded Group. And he was saying, oh, you can have such small programs. You can get it down to 64K of RAM. That's what he said is the smallest you can get it to be.
What?
I know. I was like, what? That's the smallest it's going to be? Like,
what sort of program to flash a LED?
Yeah.
It's going to be 64K?
Exactly. Like, because it's all the Microsoft overhead. So that's what I was kind of like. I was flabbergasted. He said 64K. And
okay, I haven't watched the video yet. I can see the photo of the board, and it's all headers.
Yeah, it's all headers. They have little breakout boards. So we should. It's called the Gadgeteer. Is that the...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, it's called the .NET Gadgeteer.
Yeah.
.NET is so early 2000s, isn't it? I mean...
I don't know. I've used... I know it came after VB6, so it was .NET right after that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of... I never really... I don't do Microsoft stuff that often, but... It's a programming language. It's meh. It's not like, It's not meant for low... I didn't think it was for low-level stuff. I mean, I know they're trying to get into that space.
Yep.
But it doesn't seem... I mean, I'm not a programmer, so like I said, I'm not an expert. Just because I have a blog does not mean I'm an expert about this stuff. But, the guy was talking about, like, you can talk down to a camera, and then it can push it back to Silverlight. Do you know what Silverlight is, Dave?
I've heard of it. I don't know. No,
it's like this Flash-based thing, and it's like Netflix runs on Silverlight. It's like this really, really DRM closed source. The reason Netflix uses it is because it's really closed source and it's secure, quote unquote. So they'll stream content to it. But this guy's talking about streaming a camera, like having a plug-in camera. You have a tiny breakout board with a CCD, a charge capture device, and then that plugs into this board, and then you program the board, whatever processor's on there with .NET, and then it pushes it back to Silverlight. Silverlight, the super close. If there was like a antithesis to the open hardware movement, I think we're looking at it right here. So,
right.
So anytime you want to go, and like he's talking about, oh well, it's so simple because in .NET and VB and all those things, it auto suggests all the extensions you might have. So you might have like camera dot get data parentheses or something like that, and it's it suggests data. Well, what if you need to write your own stuff? At what point do you stop sucking from the teat of Microsoft and go out and develop your own stuff? So
suck from the Microsoft teat. I love it.
And I don't know. I know what they're trying to do with it. I don't know. I think they're trying to get into the embedded markets more. They were at that conference I was at, whatever the hell that was called.
The open source hardware.
ESC. They were at ESC.
ESC. Oh, yeah, because they have embedded operating systems. They always have. I don't know.
I mean, it's pretty. Maybe it's GUI. It's GUI friendly, but like, I don't know. This just rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like it.
Right.
It was. It's good. They're trying something. Don't get me wrong. It's good that they're trying, and it's like a prototyping platform. That's very good too. But I didn't like it. I wouldn't use it. So take it or leave it. Yeah, take it or leave it.
So I believe there's a hackerspace contest coming up.
I keep seeing that mentioned. I haven't watched it yet though. That was
okay. Right.
So I was gonna ask Jeff. Jeff was actually going to do this show too. I asked him before, and he's actually going to put this in here. So maybe we'll have to ask him about it a little bit more. But
I got it.
Yeah, he put that in. I think they're doing. I think I saw one where they had like an automated beverage dispenser,
right?
And like it's like man versus machine or hack the machine or something like that. I think that's that one, and it was you have a device that already does this stuff, and then you try and do it better, or you hack into it and stuff like that. Yeah. So. Very, very cool idea. And I think it was Mitch Altman that does that stuff. So
okay. So there's a new robotics webcast.
Yes.
Robot Girl.
Oh no, sorry. I opened a link and it started blasting. I don't know if you heard that, Dave. Sorry.
No, I didn't hear a thing.
Sorry, I opened that Vimby link and it blasted me with...
Opening those porn window, those porn pop-ups again, are we, Chris?
Yeah, I opened it. It was a hacker sucking from the teat of Microsoft. It was harrowing. I have to say, it was. But there's a new. It was just announced on Adafruit today that there's a new robotics webcast where Robot Girl is going to be, actually like hacking and like putting stuff, kind of like Ben Hack, except for straight robots. I think like just doing robots the whole time.
Okay, cool.
Looks like
fun.
That's
not Robot Girl, it's Robot GRRL.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah,
Girl,
it's got funky spelling because they probably couldn't get robotgirl.com.
Right.
So they,
yeah.
That'd be my guess anyway.
Yeah. Well, one quick thing before we go.
Yep.
I wanted to just say, what have you seen? I mean, like kind of getting back to that Microsoft thing. I don't want to bitch about it too much more, but
please do.
Okay.
Everyone loves to bitch about Microsoft.
Okay. Well, and they're getting better. I want to give them credit. They listened with Windows 7 at least. 7's better than Vista. But I don't get. So you have all these platforms out there, and what makes them just try and go out and just start an entire platform? So this new Gadgeteer thing. There's a ton of stuff out there. Why don't they just pick up on the BeagleBoard or the Arduino or something? Well, we know why they're not on the Arduino. It's because they wouldn't fit on an Arduino. But
yeah, exactly.
But why do people do that? I mean, you've seen that before, right?
Yeah, they create their own. Instead of going out and using some existing platform and building upon that, and I don't know. It's the very early computer age all over again. Everyone was, back in the 70s and early 80s, everyone was doing their own thing. Everyone come out with their own standard instead of, they'd want to do something slightly different. So they'd start from scratch. I don't know. It's that mentality all over again.
Is it like the engineer hubris? I mean, is that kind of what it is, maybe? I mean, like, maybe there's a designer somewhere that, I have all these dreams for it, and then it ends up just being, as generic as anything else?
Well, I don't know. Everyone wants something different from something. That's why generic platforms like the Arduino and the Beagle board, they're not going to be suited to everything, Right. It's just still, impossible. So they probably looked at it, maybe, and they thought, it's very easy to talk yourself out of it. Yeah. It's much easier to talk yourself out of it than to talk yourself into it. So really, I think that's the idea.
Okay. Well, that must be. I think
our amp hour's pretty close to up, is it?
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Let's check the H1. Oh, yeah.
I'm turning around here and the wife's giving me the eagle eye because she's hungry and she wants to go to Disney. She wants to go to, what is it? Disneyland?
Downtown Disney.
Downtown Disneyland. There she is. Say hi to the Amp Hour audience.
Hello, everyone.
All my internet friends.
Internet friends, say hi.
There you go. She's breathing down my neck behind me.
Well, we don't want to keep you from eating out there, so that's good that you're having fun out there. I'm glad. And you have the taping coming up, right? You're going to the show.
Yes, we're going to the Big Bang Theory. Yes, that's in 4 or 5 days, something like that. We'll be back here in LA. We're going to San Fran tomorrow, but yeah, we'll be back for the taping of Big Bang.
That is awesome. And you better get a picture with a couple of those people.
Well, you're not allowed to take your camera in, which sucks.
Come on, they must have something where you can snap a picture with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I might have to stuff the camera down my DAX or something like that.
Boy. Yeah. Just what you should do is run into the taping in the middle of it, and then just pull the camera out.
Right, and you think that'll make the final cut, huh?
Yeah, maybe. Tell them you've done speeches and you have a video blog.
Right, and I blow shit up.
That's right.
Cool. And I'm a nerd just like that.
Well, have a good time out there. And, let us all know how it's going to go.
Will do.
All right.
Will do. And there'll be more videos soon. There's lots of... there's several cool videos coming up, so watch the blog.
Can't wait, man.
Shortly.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. And that's it. I'm signing out from my hotel room here in Hyatt Regency, Orange County, Anaheim. Got to give it the full title, otherwise the Yanks might get a bit upset. All right, guys. Catch you later.
Bye.
Thanks, Chris.